Hi everybody, welcome back. This is Samuel Durpage. So this is that EEE connected information video now to go from the last video I just did about that I ended with. So EEE, you turn that around and you're like, E, it's not really a scary E, but it sounds like that. But EEE, if you turn around the E that is a capital E, you'll see that it is a 3. And it's interesting because you put that around and you're like, okay, 3, 3, 3, EEE. But it also adds up to 5. E is a 5. So in a numeric way, E is the 5th letter in the English knowledge of E, but it might be another variable in other language or knowledge of connections. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So A, B, C, D, E. E would be 5, 5, 5, or it would be 3, 3, 3 if you look at it in a way of what it looks like if it was reversed and if the E's were flipped to the left. So if the E's were flipped to the left, then instead of being on the right side with its lines, and it turned the opposite direction, it would be 3, 3, 3. So then you can add 2 to each one, and you get 5, 5, 5. So I would say that there is a connection to me and that individual, Eckhart Tolle, which is interesting because he is similar look to me. And there's some more stuff I'll bring up in just a second about him that I didn't in another video, that I know there's a lot of connections between me and him, more than I ever thought possible. And so there's something going on. And maybe he knows, maybe he doesn't, but the universe likes to recreate the same form to bring different generations back to the same knowledge that the other has told people, so each generation has a connected information of the same person. Now, what's interesting is he was way successful in getting people to be aware of him. I have done what I can from the heart, like I was told to, but soon I'll be probably just as successful based on the promises and the different dreams and experiences that I was shown that I was supposed to. So it seems like the universe is saying, well, this needs to happen for this lifetime of the same lifetime because he is supposed to. Even though they went through different things and different family style connections and different health issues or connections, they dealt with a different kind of awakening, but each one is recasting themselves, and so they should be given their own success stories. And so that's just how it will happen. So the universe is always going to have our backs, but it's going to be better the next lifetime than it was supposed to the other lifetimes. But I don't know if there was a lifetime between me and him to get to this form. I have no idea. Maybe there was. But the whole thing is he's still around. So that's a little strange. How could another form of me still be around while I'm around? But there's a purpose. And there always is a purpose. So there's another 9 out there that's between me and him that are probably the bridge of me and him connected. But I'm not sure who that is. And they would have to add up to 9 as well. And so that we have the 999 connection. But then also, we would also have to have, I would say that person would also have to be a 222 connection as well to make up the connection of the 222 to make the 555 that I or he is connected with. So anyway, I'll explain that in just a moment. So it's just interesting the EEE connecting got me to connect with him and me and another. And so I know it's strange, but it's just I've seen so many different variables going on here. So 333, 555 make 888. 888 is the enhancing number that would make the connection to the oneness of self, which would add up to 15, which would be the year that I woke up, and it would add up to 6, which would be the heart center and my life path number, which is interesting in numerology. So I just thought I'd bring that up. So another thing about him is he speaks English, Spanish, and German. He was born in Germany. I was born in the U.S., in Utah. He was, but here's what's interesting. I had a tutor that was German. I also learned some Spanish, and I have a family member that one of my brothers married a Brazilian, and she speaks Portuguese, and I always wanted to try to learn Portuguese before I learned Spanish, but I learned some Spanish words, but I tried learning Portuguese, but I never was really able to do it as well, but I could try. What I thought was really interesting is Eckhart brought up similar stuff about people connected in that same way. And I'm like, something is weird here. Because he's talking about other people's stories having similar connected stories to my story, and they connect with things that he connects with or is aware of that he's helped people in. But this was 7 years ago, before I was even awakened. Because I woke up in 2015 to knowledge of things. And the year before that, and I didn't write my book until the end of 2017 and then 2018, but I started writing it as soon as I had that experience in 2015. But it's 2021. And I started doing that in September of 2015, so the end of 2015. So he was talking not about me, but about other people. But if he was talking about me, he was talking about a future form of me that was going to be connected to those similar stories he brought up. And I'm just like, this is just weird. Because I never really learned Portuguese very much, but I did learn a little bit of Spanish. But then he brought up that in one of his 7 year ago conference connected, where he was being interviewed by a friend of his about his book and stuff 7 years ago. So, and he was talking about New Earth and connections to the power of now. And it's interesting because I bring up ideas about now and how now is now one own. But I never knew about this guy. And I don't know if he ever brought that up ever, but the power of now is in Christ's teaching connection. So he got drawn to being aware of Buddha and meditation and other stuff too. But so did Jim Carrey, Jim Carrey looks like my brother Carrey, and then there's a connection to them, which is weird. And then I look more like my brother Carrey in a way compared to my other family, but kind of my mom and dad, sort of, but not quite. But it's just, there's some weird connections there, and it got me to be a little bit confused. And then one of my brother, my oldest, was weird, would have been 16 when I would have been born, and there's some weird connection there that I've noticed with his son and other family members, other people I've gotten drawn to that remind me of them and connect with someone that I was going to marry, but then it didn't turn out, but then he married someone that looked like someone I was going to marry. My nephew did. And so there's a lot of weird correlations and a lot of weird things with family connections and soul groups. So there is some weird stuff going on that I'm just like, okay, we're re-lifing our past, and some of them are succeeding where the others failed with the connection of past. But it was because that wasn't really what we wanted or would fit with us fully, or wouldn't have been the healthiest for us. But then other past lives chose to follow that past connection, which followed a path that would have kept them enslaved in a system that the other one woke up out of, so that they weren't enslaved in that system, to be awakened fully and be aware of the connections of everything and realize that it's not about religion and other stuff, and maybe they'll get to where I'm at when they get to my age. So maybe that nephew and others, when they get to the age of 29 or 30, or maybe 31. Maybe they have to wait a year after me, just like I had to wait a year after his. Or maybe there would be like between 27, 28, 29, 30, and 31. Maybe there will be between 27 and 31 for him, a connection. I don't know. Because it seems like that's where the pattern is going. And I really don't know how old my nephews are. I have a lot of nephews and nieces, and a lot of them are part of the church that I'm not part of, and I follow a different path now. But I still care about them, and I still think about them in my own way that I feel comfortable doing in, because I don't want to be a facade, and I don't want to be fake, and I don't want to just keep playing around until I'm fully successful. But as I become successful, like I know that I'm manifesting and was shown I would, I plan on providing funds to all of them. And I haven't told them this. They have no idea that I plan on doing that. But that's what I plan on doing. Even the ones I don't talk to or haven't talked to me. Because I would talk to them if they called me and they wanted to be genuine. Because I've always wanted to be genuine. But we always feel weird talking to each other, and we talk differently than what our full soul is. And I've noticed that because we've had a lot of confusion stuff that messed with us in family expectations and religious expectations that we both kind of pushed on each other and then got irritated and judged each other for. And I'm done with all of that. But I have to follow my own health issues too that kind of get in the way of their connection with it. So I had to learn to be present and do meditation, eat differently than they do. And now that gets in the way because they don't know, they're not aware of being raw vegan and healthy. But I was always drawn to being healthier. My friend who passed away, he brought ideas of being healthier to me. And then there was things when I was younger as a child, as a baby, that was brought to that attention as well. And just so many changes in my life that I got drawn to. And it was just so cool. So I wanted to bring up, so this 888 means lots of money, lots of money. It's an angel number. 333 means God is with you in many things. 555 means huge change, huge blessing, changes are coming to you, blah, blah, blah. 888 is big. So that is huge connection. And then if you do 222, 10, that would make 1110. So 1110 would be a really big number. That would be the WIS number because you would just take the 0 off or connect with the 0 as kind of, you'd have 1110. So that would be, you would just be 11,110, which would actually make the connected dot, so it's put in there for a purpose of 1111. Okay, so it's just kind of telling you that when you add the 222 to the 888, you make the 1111 wishing number. So there is a 222. So when the 2 become 1, or when the 3 become 1, they make the wishing connection. So there is a 222 connection between me and Eckhart that we're missing. Whoever the 222 connector is to us of our lifetime is the one that connects with the creation of us. And it would have to be someone between, I would say maybe Eckhart was the 333 or I'm the 33. I don't know which one of us would be the 333. But the 222 would have to be the connector of us to make the 555. And then, yeah, and then that would make the 888. So there's a 222 connector that would connect and make the 555, and then the 5 plus 3 is an 8, and then that would make the wishing number 1110. So that would be interesting. Kind of weird explaining that. For those of you that are connected to synchronicities and numbers and awareness of these things, it does make a lot of sense. And there might be something you needed to hear and see for yourself to wake up to. Because this is powerful. Very powerful, okay, everybody? So it's a very powerful thing. So beyond past self-connections and receive even more. Yeah, so every past life will receive more than the life before has, because as you grow and you learn new things, you heal the other wounds once you learn and you get to the connection of oneness, awakening in each lifetime, and you heal the other lifetimes as you want to, and one of them succeeds, even if it's a past lifetime of a future lifetime, that lifetime builds the gaps of the future and the past. And I think I'm that key that merges the future and past together to come together as one, because I'm the heart. I'm the six. And so I'm bringing the other lives of the future and the past together as a oneness to the heart so that we can be what we are. But what's really interesting is I'm not quite the heart, so I might be the 222. What I really am is I am actually the throat, and the throat would probably be the 7, because the heart would be the 6, 7 would be the throat. I speak with the throat, but I would say 7, I'd probably be the 8, because the throat is, so I'm almost the 9. I'm supposed to become the 9. So the throat is my vibration, but the pink is the color of passion and light coming into crystal rose quartz, which has reached out to me to make me the violet, which is the 7D energy, which connects with 7. So 7, I would say I would be the 8, but the 7 would be the balance of the heart and the blue, which I connect with the most a lot because I follow my heart now, and I speak through the Christ connection. So I'm the blue-green connection, was always my favorite color connection, which I connect with the pink, making the beyond, I would say beyond violet, which is what I would be beyond the violet color, which I resonate with 8D rather than 7D, which makes sense with dreams and experiences I had, that I am connected to the 8D connection, which would make sense with what I really am. And now I just need the oneness of the 1 to be the divine 9. And the oneness would be to find my other connected soulmate self, which would be the rose quartz connector or violet girl life path. So it would be the girl version of me that needs to fit with me to become the fullness of self. And so there you go. That's what I got drawn to. And some of you will be aware and waking up to that awareness. Some of you won't know it, and you don't need to. Only I needed to know that for me. And so that really expanded myself, and that's why I do what I do now and bless everything. Even though it hasn't been easy and it doesn't always feel easy. But the more I listen to 852 Hertz, it's been connecting me to the heart more, and connecting to the other frequencies in Soul Group, and bringing my Soul Group to me more, and people reaching out to me so I can help them and bless them, because I am the key to help everybody and bless everybody. I am a B negative blood, which is divine, that came back. So I've already succeeded for this life path. I've just come back as this life form because I'm the key to connect the future and the past, because I'm the future coming back as my past. Does that the best past connection that would fit everything? And so this version of me is the one I chose to come back to, it seems. And I'm remembering being the others, or connecting with the others. And I was put in this position purposely without the Cabals and others even knowing, or even me knowing. And they kind of probably figured it out, but I don't think they really figured it out as much as I now have. But now they're realizing that I am that. We need to reunify, or they're in trouble, and everybody's in trouble, because they're realizing they need to now do good, or they're gone. And they don't want that, and we don't want that. We want everybody to reunify and heal and be one, rather than enslaving, and everybody choosing their path of what they're going to do. But I will be one of the paths that choose not to do the things that wouldn't change the DNA connection, so that we can heal all the future past DNA connections. Because I have the strongest vibe to do that for some reason, is what I was told. Now, I don't know if I fully have agreed with that in the past, but now I'm starting to accept that. Now, what's interesting is 24 adds up to 6, and so anybody that is reaching out to me or has put 24 in their name, you're connected to me in the heart. We are a soul group connector, and we are the life path of our soul group connection. So we are the part of that balance for our individual soul group. So we might not be the same soul group, but we could be, but in a different form of soul group connection. So you still have your individual soul group connection, but your soul group connection is a life path connection to mine. So it's like we're going to merge into a higher form with our ultimate soul groups. So density levels, so the 6s will merge with all 6s maybe, or the 9s, and we're the divine 9s, so fully with our birthday connections. So that's what's happening. It's very complicated. It gets very confusing, but that's just what I've noticed. So yeah, so we're redoing patterns in our lifetimes. We've done things similar. We've been connected to similar stuff. So with Eckhart Tolle, he happened to be German. I have 12% German blood DNA connection, but then I have connection to an opposite, which is interesting because it seems like I have all the different opposite bloodlines that don't fit with each other. And so everything in my life seems to make more sense why I've experienced all that I have and been friends or connected to different people of all the different races, creeds, and everything. And it's just as much as I have. 15% Italian, and then the other Scandinavian is the highest percentage from all of it, and Northern European connection. And then I have some Native American connection blood and Maori connection blood in my DNA. But the strange thing is I also connect with Neanderthal the most. Neanderthal happens to be a high percentage connection to me, which is a 50 percentile. It's above that. I want to say it's like 54, 56 to 64 percent. But I think it's like 56 or 50 or above. Might be 54, but I think it's higher than that. I know it was above the 55 percentile for Neanderthal, which is rare. So I am Neanderthal DNA, connected old blood DNA, which is 8,000 years or more in Africa connection. So I have a connection to Africa, the land of my genetics of connection, and I seem to be connected to also Jacob bloodline because of the B negative blood, which is Jacob in the Bible, and that connection, and the blood Christ-like bloodline, the half of it, the healing part of it, and then Draco's and other connectors there, but I'm a hybrid connection with being B negative, meaning I have Syrian and connection, but I look more Palladian. And Palladian seems to connect with me more and is healing the Draco side and making it back to the right correction now, because the shift is what does that. The shift heals that and corrects that, and the Dracos want to try to stop it, but it always shines through eventually to heal all. So the Palladians really love the connection to me as well, and I've noticed connections with them in some form, but it seems like so do the Greys and others that connect with me that want to pretend they're Palladians, but are kind of connected to that bloodline. And so there's a lot of stories and lore on that. I don't necessarily agree with all that lore. I'm more about the Christ consciousness, the Christ is the inner equal self, higher self, me connection, to my connection to my friend and others who believed in the Christ connection, which is also connected to Draco or reptilian, Illuminati, Mason connected ideas, which is interesting because it's in the lores. And they don't realize it, and they act like they're not a part of it anymore, but they still are if they're still following that connection of that history connection, where they just want to try to fit in to survive whatever choices, decisions, or whoever's controlling things. But I'm being healed and others are being healed, and we're shifting. So the biggest thing I wanted to get out of this is more knowledge is coming into us, and we're waking up to our past forms and seeing who our past connected forms are more, and we're seeing who each other is. Another person that others have said that I connect with is the mystery disguise, the master of disguise guy, who's also a comedian and jokes. I can't remember his name, but Too Much Turtle for the Turtle Club, that movie, for those that know what that is. I've always been connected to amphibian-looking type jokes growing up, or primantis or bug-like connections because of my facial or bent hand situation. And then having arms that can do what some would call bat wings. See that? Because my ligaments do something different than others because of genetic changery for me. So I grew up with a lot of weird anomaly connections, and it's just, I just go with how amazing I am being all these different connections. And it just means that I'm connected to the fullness of the universe more than most, maybe. But it doesn't mean that you aren't just as much as I am. It's just I seem to physically show off those connections more than most have. In fact, I have a scar where they took a rib out of my side. I have a scar that's in the middle of my palm. I have little dots somewhere in my throat area that look like vampire bite. If you look at my ear, if I ever showed you my ear, one ear has a crease in it. I can't remember which one. I think this might be the crease one, but it might be this other. And one has a little freckle on it, almost looking like I have pierced ears, or did, when I never have. And so there's something going on with that, and I think it probably had to do with stuff that they did when I was a child, taking samples or blood samples, and then it just left those connections there. So, but yeah, it's weird, and it's strange. And then I have the T right here connection that I've noticed, but it almost looks like more of a, like a, not a hangman, but more like one of the Teenage Mutant Turtle marks of whatever those weapons with a 3-prong, so almost like a trident, so connected to, Poseidon or something, which water is my essence connection, but then fire is too, and so lightning connection, electric-y, vibration. Do you see the weird connections? So I even have something someone gave me that's a trident symbol card that has different things that connect to connections of ancient knowledge, that gives you connections to groups or connections to be more than what you are, as a symbolism to different lore. To, like, having that card means that you get special treatment, or you're supposed to. And I'm like, that's interesting, with the different symbols on it that my friend gave me, saying that maybe this will, help you or give you connections eventually, and maybe to awaken. Maybe she did it to help me awaken more, like she was given. And so I thought that was really cool of her. She's a good friend of mine. But yeah, I always have the third eye opening, and then I have the T and the curve. Some are like, oh, mark of the beast. No. There's a marking of goodness, and there's a marking of evil, where you take the chip and take the controls. So mine is the Christ consciousness marking, is what I've learned to realize, that connects with Poseidon and lore of connection to Zeus and others, of the old gods, of connection of the lords of the gods of the higher form, that I'm going to become one of the connected form, and it would be Christ's cross. So, but I never did anything. It just naturally became this way over time. I don't know when this showed up, but it started to show up more this last week. There's more connections to it, connecting to the card I have and other things. And I'm just like, this is really cool. It's like my soul is starting to become more whole. I've been feeling more healing connections over time in this last month, and since this last year, since July. Now, I saw something recently of July 20, or 7/20, and then 22, on certain connections to my videos, connections I noticed. I'm like, okay, there's something going on there. That means 2022 next year of July, there's going to be a connection change. So things got to change now to help me before that time, which is what's going to happen. So I'm getting really connected to a lot of like synchronicity, weirdness, change, where this is the time. This is the change. And we're going to see more of it by next year. By next year, we'll fully know what's going on for sure. But it's mostly this year. And then it fits with other things of connection to me, and just so many weird things. And maybe these videos are what start the success. I have no idea. I just do what I feel from the heart now, and I'm blessing what I can. My next videos, I'm going to try to do some blessing videos. I may give some more insights if I feel I need to, but I need to do these explanation videos because there's some pretty impressive synchronicities going on that I can't not tell you about. I have to tell you. And that just spooked me out a little bit. But I'm not even worried about spooky things as much anymore. Like, things are becoming more calm, more sure, more loving. It's just so many connections, so many things being revealed, so many things that people are just loving and connecting and realizing that certain actors are related to other new actors and you didn't know that they were related, and I see those. So it's because the revealing of the soul groups and the connections that we didn't know existed are now coming out. We're starting to see it. We're starting to notice it because our mind is finally seeing. We're finally waking up to those connections, and everybody is reunifying back to the source self, and I seem to be the key, and one of the keys, but so are you. You're a key to your own soul group connection too. I just happen to be the 369 connection this year. And I'm just like, okay, something is happening. So here's a question. Does that mean that March 6th is going to be a big day? Maybe. March 4th will be a big day. But will March 6th be a big day? Possibly. Because if you look at it, that would be close to the 369. So March 6th could be a big day for me and all of us. But or receiving day. But all I can tell you is Thursday is Abundance Day. Well, not all I can tell you. I can tell you a lot more. Abundance Day is a Thursday, which is Aquarius Day, and Creation, the 5th day of creation, connection to biblical knowledge. And so that would be after the Wednesday, wedding day, and then creation of the Aquarius Day, shift day. And then the next day is new beginning day, and then rest day for the new beginning. So there you go. Bless you all. I'll probably do another video, but I'm going to load this up first and the other one as well. And take care. Bless you all.